Have you ever stopped to think about what really separates software that just kind of works from software that feels great, solid? A huge piece of that puzzle is something that happens way before anyone ever clicks a button: testing. So let's dive in and really unpack the building blocks that create amazing, high-quality software.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with this big quest for quality. Then we'll lay down the foundation with something called unit testing. After that, we'll draw up a blueprint using test-driven development, and then we'll zoom out to see the big picture with ATD. And to finish it all off, we'll talk about a super common pitfall: the measurement trap. I mean, this is it, right? This is the million-dollar question for every single developer out there. How do you build something so complex, something that tons of people are going to use, and make sure it doesn't just fall apart? Well, the answer isn't some magic wand. It's all about having a disciplined mindset. And that brings us right into our first stop: the quest for quality. Because look, in modern software development, especially when you're using something like Scrum, quality isn't something you sprinkle on at the end. Nope, it has to be baked in from the very, very first line of code. Now this right here, this is a total game changer. For the longest time, the thinking was build it, then test it. But this test first idea completely flips that on its head. It forces you to ask, what does success even look like before you write a single line of actual code? It's a fundamental shift in thinking. So how do we actually do that? How does this test first idea really start to take shape? Well, it all begins with the most basic, most fundamental building block. This is the absolute bedrock of solid software. We're talking about the unit test. Think about it like you're building a house. A unit test isn't checking if the whole house is going to stand up. Nah, it's checking a single brick. Is this one brick perfectly made? Are there any cracks? You're taking the tiniest possible piece of your code, putting it under a microscope, and asking one simple question: does this little thing do exactly what I think it does? And this is exactly why they're the foundation. I mean, if you know every single one of your bricks is perfect, you can build the rest of the house with way more confidence, right? This whole practice creates this incredible safety net for developers. It lets them build and change things without that constant fear that they're going to bring the whole system crashing down. Okay, so if unit tests are our perfect little bricks, how do we know where to put them? We can't just have a pile of perfect bricks. We need a plan. We need a blueprint. And in the world of software, that blueprint is called test-driven development, or TDD for short. TDD has this really simple but really powerful little rhythm. It's called red, green, refactor. It goes like this. First, you write a test for something that doesn't even exist yet. Of course, it's going to fail. That's your red light. Then you write just enough code, the absolute bare minimum to make that test pass. Bam, you got a green light. And finally, you go back and clean up that code, make it better. That's refactor. It's this constant cycle that basically turns your tests into your to-do list. And when you do this, the results can be amazing. The process just naturally leads to code that's cleaner and simpler, with way fewer bugs, because you're literally only writing code to satisfy a specific test. But, and this is a big but, it's not magic. The source is really clear on this. It takes serious discipline and experience from the team to pull it off well. All right, so we've got our bricks tested, we've got a blueprint for how to put them together, but are we building the right house? Are we even in the right zip code? That's what our next level up, ATD, helps us figure out. With ATD, we are zooming way out. We're actually taking the requirements straight from the customer, what they really want the software to do for them, and we turn those wants directly into tests. These tests then become the guide for everything else, making sure that developers, testers, and the business folks are all on the same page about what done actually means. So here's the absolute key difference. Let's just boil it down. TDD is asking, did we build the thing right? It's a technical check. ATDD, on the other hand, is asking, did we build the right thing? It's a check for user value, and you really, really need both to make something truly great. Now, with all this testing going on, it's natural to start asking, so are we doing a good job? We need a way to measure our success, right? Well, yes, but this leads us straight into our final and very important section, the measurement trap. So one of the first metrics people grab onto is code coverage. And honestly, on the surface, it sounds fantastic. It's just a percentage that tells you how much of your code is being touched by your tests. A higher number has to be better, right? But here it is. This is the trap. And this quote comes directly from our source material.
You can have 100% code coverage and still have absolutely awful, useless tests. How? Well, it's easy. A test can cover a line of code, meaning it runs it, without actually checking if that code did anything meaningful. It's so easy to chase the number and completely miss the point. So what does meaningful testing actually look like? Well, it's a lot less about hitting a percentage and a whole lot more about the quality of the thought that goes into the tests. It means designing tests with care, focusing your energy on the riskiest parts of the system, and doing really deep checks to make sure the software does what a real human would expect it to do. And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. When it's all said and done, it's not enough to just go through the motions. You have to ask yourself, is your team truly testing to make sure the software is solid, reliable, and valuable? Or are you just covering your code to hit a metric? The answer to that question makes all the difference in the world.